You can also find Rand's album on iTunes, on Spotify. It's the Banana Tape Volume 1. Is there a Volume 2?
There was going to be, because it was only that Volume 1 was like, it's like 25 minutes or something like that, or 20 minutes. It's like 20 minutes or something. And I wanted to put out the other 20, because I did 2 or 3 different sets that weekend at Bananas, and I wanted to put them out in chunk, but then it was pre-COVID, and it's like right when COVID was about to kick off, like 3 weeks later. And there's a whole through line on the track list that's like the flutes joke. Someone coughs through the whole bit. And then there's one where I'm like, get this person a lozenge is the name of one of the tracks. And then one of the other tracks is like, somebody needs to quit coughing. And on the mixtape, I'm like, if you cough one more time, I'm leaving. There's so many people coughing in the crowd. I'm sure I had COVID.
Yeah.
So that was something.
Everybody had it.
Okay. So that was something was that like, were you aware of COVID when this was happening, or?
No, nobody was. Nobody knew what COVID was. It was just like, there's a bunch of people in the audience. It was like New Year's is when I recorded it. And it was Brendan's weekend at Bananas. So like he would let me go a little longer or do a thing. And then I realized we were recording all of them. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll just, I had some good sets. So maybe I'll just like cut them up into a mixtape. And then we only used the one that's the first show.
Okay.
So it's like, man, I wanted to, but there's so many people fucking coughing. But then like Brendan was coming in from New York and he's like, dude, I don't feel good. And I was like, I felt like I was going to die in the shower today. And then when the ball dropped for midnight, we all kissed on stage. You know what I mean? So it's like way before COVID. We probably all had it. It was just like, whatever. But that was
the inciting incident.
Yeah.
That show.
Brendan kissed me and he had just taken a bite out of a bat.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was that was on the menu that night.
Yeah.
Before we knew. Do you find yourself, like, if you're watching something, or if you're like in that case, finding a connection that between what you're watching and a bit that you're doing, even though they're 2 totally unrelated things?
No, because if that was the case, I actually maybe, because I did a joke in Wisconsin. I've been watching The Crown a lot, and I did a joke in Appleton that I was just thinking of, like how like I'm a liberal. I set up the whole shit where I'm like, dude, I'm a liberal. Fuck my wife. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like whatever. But I'm like, I think it's weird that they're doing these old timey like period piece movies, but they're like giving the characters like progressive sentiments. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? This is not how I set up the joke. We're just talking.
Okay.
Everybody's waiting for the punchline, but it's like they're like, okay, for example, I was watching one of those movies where white people wore bonnets and they lived in the rain. You know what I mean? Like one of those old like, oh, we'll burn a witch. You know what I mean? I was like, watch. And the lady was walking in the cabin and she had like some sticks and flowers. Do white people eat flowers? It doesn't matter that she gathered. And she was walking. Okay, they do. And she was walking in and she like had a little bundle, and then. The guy was like, did you bring in the milk from the cow? And the lady goes, you milked the cow. And I'm all for like the lady empowerment, but if that would have happened for real, then you milked the cow to her husband, that guy would have loaded one of them old timey guns that you have to jack off to put the bullet in, and would have shot her in the head for being a witch. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's not, they keep making these characters. You're going to see a movie in a couple of years where a king walks out and he's like, I think Gaylord should be married. And it's like, well, you know what I mean? It's like, that's not how it went then. That's why those times are the bad times.
Right.
Yeah. You know, the Queen's Gambit, she would have just got raped in that basement and the series would have been over.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, me either. So
that would have been it. The 10 minutes in, the guy would have raped her, and then she would have never played chess ever again. I know that sounds a little edgy for the listeners, but that's just tell me that's not true.
I have no frame of reference. So
yeah, it doesn't help that you haven't seen.
Yeah.
This sounds way out of context.
Yeah, right. That came from left field. I was just going to say, I don't remember that part in the history book where George Washington was fighting to combat climate change.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's what I mean. Like, that's kind of like the area of the joke. It's like, I'm like that, but they were pretty cool because like George Washington looked just like my grandma's best friend.
Yeah.
Like he wore rouge and buckle shoes and pantaloons and shit.
Rouge, yeah.
And then I've been doing a joke where I keep saying, "Can you imagine being British? How bad that would suck."
Currently,
like modern British or just old timey? Anytime.
At any time.
Yeah.
Just being like, "Hello," like that's your voice. Hello,
just
that's
grimy.
Crazy. I love clocks. My God is the queen or whatever. It's like so crazy. Drink the coffee. Go to work.
It's like the British accent is either like just words rolling out of your mouth, or it almost seems like you have to like work to say words.
The crazy thing, and I don't care. Having that original oppressor DNA in you has to do something where you're just like either so you just always look like you're vindictive. You know what I mean? It's like some weird like my dad was a chimney sweep or whatever. Like he knew the queen. It's like shut up. Like what the fuck? Everything's so old and wearing trench coats and rainy and nobody, their food is gray.
Yeah, the food is gray. Yeah.
That's really why we came to America. It wasn't a religious thing. It was like, this food sucks.
Pottage.
Yeah. Also, like
pottage.
Yeah. I live in the rain. It's called a trash can, not a bin.
Yeah. Rubbish.
Rubbish. It's called garbage. I'm trying to do this thing where I keep talking about how I have a friend that's dating a girl in Australia, and it takes him 26 and a half hours on a plane to go see her. And I'm like, can you imagine being horny on a plane for a day? You know what I mean? It takes 8.5 minutes to get to space from Florida.
That's a fair point.
And then you're getting so horny while you have like Asian people's farts in your mouth and that little tube for a day. You get there and she's like, I'm gonna eat 6. And you're like, oh God, what?
6. You wanna have 6?
Oh, I'm horny. You're like, oh golly.
Yeah, don't talk dirty to me.
In Australian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good.
That's my penis.
It's the British accent if they had a Southern accent.
I keep saying it sounds like a British person with milk.
Yeah, hillbilly British.
Milk in their throat.
Yeah. Look at that bloody bird over there.
Look at that bloody bird over there. Well, I watched an episode of 90 Day Fiance, and there was a girl from South Africa who lived in Australia, so she had an Australian accent, and she was a Christian. She's getting married to this guy, and they're throwing her to this bachelorette party in this field, and then they go to her like talking head. All these Christian girls are giving her like panties, and they're all like, "Oh, you're gonna have sex," and then it goes to her talking head. She's like, "I was quite a bit nervous because I've never had sex." And I was like, oh my God, no wonder.
I looked up, there was like a whole article of like all these old timey terms for sex. They're hilarious. You got to look them up, dude. They're so funny. Like, he rode upon St. George. I gotta look these up.
Last night we were the beast with 2 backs.
That was, I think, one of them. That was that was one of them.
The beast with 2 backs?
Yeah. 1863, horizontal refreshment.
Dude, horizontal refreshment is gross.
Right? I don't picture like, hey girl, wanna get some of this horizontal refreshment.
Nothing refreshing about what I'm doing, dude.
What else, Steve?
1796, dance the Kipples.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, dude, these are fucking weird. 1680, join giblets.
Ew.
I know, right? Like what you take guts of 2 chickens and just mash them together.
Yeah, that just sounds like people were fucking turkeys.
Right. They probably were.
Yes, I joined my giblets last evening.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they don't tell you about that part of the first Thanksgiving.
To join paunches.
Dude, ew, paunches is gross too. It just sounds like you're rubbing bellies.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine a dude, you go to meet your friend, you got your wool overcoat on and your little roundy hat with the short brim, and you're like sitting at a bar and your friend walks in, you're like, so what happened? And then he's like quietly, he's like, I'll have one beer. And then he just leans into you and he's like, last evening, let's just say we joined giblets. You'd be like, what? Did you kill her?
We mashed our bits. For doodling.
Doodling?
Ugh. Play nug-a-nug.
Ew.
That's a slur. That's definitely a slur
gross.
now.
These are all
That's
gross.
that seems like it's a slur. I'm with you. I think I'd be good at being a king.
You've got the accent down.
That's right. I think I want to be. I just want to be picked up from a chair and put into a big car and then driven somewhere. I want to get a new pair of shoes and make a guy carry me.
Perfectly physically able to. You just
perfectly physically able. I'm 22 years old.
Yeah, carry me around in this chair everywhere I go. My feet can't touch the floor.
No.
Take me from one chair into a bigger chair.
I would get a fat guy to get the tattoo ideas that I want too.
Yeah.
Just to see how they look on someone else and then just be like, yeah, I don't want a Stelgetty on my throat. Sorry, man. Sorry, man. It does look bad. They were right.
That's you're my canvas. Your body is a work of art.
Imagine being a dude and being like, you know what? I don't like my wife anymore. I think I'm going to get her head cut off in front of the whole town.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Divorce court has much higher stakes in those days.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the divorce court judge? You remember that? It was an old man, and then it was like, that was the people's court. Who was the divorce court judge? Wasn't she like a black lady with like short hair?
I think so.
Yeah, that lady fucking ruled. She would always side with she would always side with the people that paid the rent.
Yeah.
That's it.
If you wanted to go on divorce court, all you had to do is be like, I paid the rent every month, and she never complained. And the lady would be like, see now, and then they throw out the whoever's claim didn't pay the rent.
Yeah, it's too predictable. Is that show even a thing now?
I don't know. I wish it was. Sometimes I get on YouTube and I watch Maury clips to remember what it was like to grow up in my household.
Yeah.
All right. Lynn Toller was she the only judge? I love the flyer or the
her name was Lynn Toller for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the rings?
For
divorce court?
It first aired in 1957.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's a surprise.
Dude, divorce court in 1957 had to be fucking crazy. It'd be like, well, I went outside to get our milk delivery and my wife was in the back in her summer dress looking at the neighbor. You know, and you're like, what?
But the judge would always side with the person that had the lobotomy, so the wife.
Yeah. Especially if she paid the rent.
Right.
Even then. Oh, shit. She's from Cleveland Heights, Ohio, Lynn Toller.
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
Sounds like lint roller.
Yeah.
Don't you fucking dare, Steve. Don't you dare. She's a judge of the court.
Right. I'll be held in contempt for that.
I hope you never have to go see her in divorce court. I'm gonna send an anonymous letter. Say what you just said.
She'll be like, "Hey, you're lint roller guy."
Yeah, lint roller was there for starting in 2006. Maybelline Dolores Ephraim.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
It was definitely Maybelline from 99 to 2006. So that's probably the one that you remember.
No, I remember Lynn Toller.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah. Hell yeah. She ruled.
Yeah. I mean, I guess kids, if you're.
I remember having the cops take people out at Hilarities St. Patrick's Day a couple years ago. That was because everybody before me did bits that they didn't have a chance to do rehearsals on because it's St. Patrick's Day material. They didn't rehearse it at all. They all were bombing. They couldn't break character to be like, hey, shut the fuck up. So
it was sketch, right?
Yeah. It was with Michael Bush. It was weird.
You had.
Yeah, oh yeah. I was the first comic that bothered to like just be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And they're like, this isn't funny. And then I don't know. I got him back though, but the crowd was liking me, and then I had the cops take him out.
Yeah, that guy's great.
Yeah. he has a podcast with Nick Vatterott.
Oh yeah, that explains it. Nick Vatterott's fucking hilarious. One of my favorites.
Oh yeah, he's so. I hate using the word alt, but I mean he's not your traditional. Yeah, he's not your traditional stand-up.
Right.
And it's
great. I get it though. That label. No, go ahead, man. You're good.
No, I don't understand what alt is.
Yeah, well, it's kind of.
It's a blanket term that people use to call not mainstream comedy. So if
unconventional,
right? I feel like enough newer comic, less experienced comics, use it as a crutch. It's like, oh, this audience doesn't get me because I'm alt. Like I'm an alt comic. I delve into dark topics.
Definitely not that though.
Oh. No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
Right.
That's just unfunny. And like obscure references.
Or
no, I'm alt.
going up and being those. I have a bit about people that say use comedy as therapy.
Oh God.
I'm like, you guys would never laugh at real therapy.
Yeah.
If a comedian came on stage and they were like, well, I can't eat soup in the wintertime without thinking about my grandfather's penis, you guys wouldn't be like, oh, your pain.
Right.
And then there's more examples. I don't know. But it's like, am I alt?
No. Obviously you're kidding, but like
it's a blanket term that doesn't really mean anything. Like it's very subjective, I feel like.
You can't laugh at that.
Special thanks to Golden Ox Studio. You can find Golden Ox Studio for all your podcasting needs at goldenoxstudio.com. Hit up Jeremy. He is fantastic to work with, a professional. He makes podcasting easy. And if you've been kicking the tires on starting your own podcast, definitely give Golden Ox Studio a look. If you'd like to weigh in on today's topic, follow us on Twitter at YouCan'tLaughPod, or like us on Facebook at You Can't Laugh at That, and tell us how you did laugh at today's topic or how you didn't. This is all about the conversation, is what I'm saying. All right. Bye.